Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here with Jad. What's up, Jad?
What's going on, Hugo? Good to see you, man.
Un placer en conocerte y poder conversar. I promise that I will make this worth it for you. I really just wanted to take some time to thank you for even considering being on here. I really appreciate you. I think your journey is so unique. I can't wait to dive into everything that you're into and what you're doing. Jad is the sports editor, right, at LA Times and Español.
That's
You've
cool.
worked across, or your work has appeared across different outlets like Chicago Tribune, South Florida Sun Sentinel, and San Diego Union Tribune. But I think what makes you stand out to me more is your like unique story. So I'm gonna start diving in on that. But before we do that, Jad, every episode we started off with two things. We started off with a quick little meditation. I promise it's super easy, and it'll be something that hopefully can help you channel correctly everything you want to say. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off with the meditation, if you don't mind.
Go for it, man.
All right, cool. So what we do is all we're gonna do is breathe in love and we're gonna exhale gratitude, and that's it, man.
That's all.
That's the meditation. Also, I do something on my podcast where the previous guest that was on leaves you a positive message. They don't know who it is that they're giving this message to, and you'll be leaving a message for me to give to the next guest as well. But the message that the last person that was on this podcast gave you, you ready for it?
Yes.
Hopefully it lands. And if it doesn't, fuck it. Hopefully it lands to someone who's listening out there.
You
But
said the
this,
F word. Are we allowed to say the F word?
yes, we're allowed to cuss. Yes. This is not a big money podcast, so it's okay to
Hey,
cuss right now.
don't count yourself short, man.
Thank you. Thank you. So the message for you is the universe sees how hard you've been restoring balance to yourself and figuring out who you really are, figuring out your authentic self. Even when you weren't seen, when you weren't recognized, when you weren't known, keep taking care of yourself and your health and wellness, and keep resting as your true self continues to emerge. Before you know it, energy is going to come to you, well being is going to come to you, inspiration is going to come to you, and you'll have everything you need for your next step. You have a heart full of love, and you are so celebrated for that heart. Carry on. You're doing beautifully.
How am I gonna beat that? No, seriously. Like that is full on. Like there, it's like we all have our struggles. Unless you have something else to say, I mean, I'm just jumping in and answering because we all have our own struggles, and it just hits a lot of good points, and I love this, and you have to give it to me written.
I will.
I
I will
don't know if
definitely.
I can I don't know. Maybe I'll
You
just
you'll
pass the same message home because that was awesome, bro. Who was that? May I ask?
her name is Amanda. She's on the she teaches meditation classes.
Oh, there you go.
And so
See?
she channeled that message specifically for you, and hopefully you can channel one for the next guest. And hope it comes from the heart. So whatever
Yeah, of
comes,
course.
man, that's all that matters. We like to start off the podcast a little positive that way, and hopefully you can generate just a good message for the next person. And so far, every message has landed, so I'm very happy to pass that along and just be the
Cool.
messenger here. So, Chad, you have Lebanese. You're the son of Lebanese
Mm,
immigrants. You were born in Colombia, I
that's
believe,
correct.
and you're living in LA. That's
Three different worlds.
three different worlds, three different identities living in you.
Yeah.
So I want to ask, how do you hold all three of those identities at once? And is there one that feels more like home to you?
So just to be clear, my family, like you said, they are from Lebanon, from the south of Lebanon specifically, and you know what is going on right now in South Lebanon. So it is tough. It hurts. It hurts everything in my soul. So that tells you how much identity I have for my background, for my family, for where I am really from. Because I was made in Lebanon. I always say that I was made in Lebanon, born in Colombia. Because my mom was pregnant at the moment that she had to run away from the situation in Lebanon, and then landed. in between Colombia and Venezuela, right there on the border, in a little town called Maicao. Like if you had a cow, Maicao, but it's in Spanish, it's Maicao. It's an indigenous name. And and it hurts me also to hear when things are not well in Colombia, when I have family that are going through a lot of hardship. Just right now, precisely before this conversation was happening, we heard bad news about what some of our family are going through. Cousin of mine, they're dealing with a lot of violence, with a lot of negativity. So it really hurts me to the core, the same way that it hurts me when I hear about Lebanon. So I cannot identify myself with only one side because I was brought up in between both cultures, and I appreciate both cultures, and I don't see myself being separated from any of them. I mean, maybe I was not raised the fully Colombian way, I would say, because we were brought up in a community where the Colombian Lebanese was still mixed up. I grew up in a Colombian Arabic school in the middle of my town, in the middle of the town that I grew up, and it was in Spanish, it was in Arabic, maybe some English here and there. But then, I obviously identify with those. Then comes the US as the third option due to also the violence. I mean, violence has always been kind of like part of our journey. I don't want to say my journey because it's my family's journey. And to end up here, quote unquote, in a safe place and where I can be, the mix that I am, and now adding to it, I don't want to say just the American side because it's more Mexican than American. Yes. Are you Mexican by any chance? Are you Mexican descent?
My family is Peruvian, so
Peruvian. Okay.
I was born here in LA. I have a Thompson jersey on
Okay.
because she's half Peruvian, half Filipina.
Yes.
I I
And just
grew up with Mexicans though. My best friends are Mexican. My fiance is Mexican.
you do have some Mexican in you, so you know what I'm talking about. That's exactly what that mix and obviously the American culture and all of that. So yeah, it is a tough question to answer because I don't want to wait more. I am a Muslim. So if you want to add that, probably it's more powerful in regards to the culture, religion, whatever. I do follow that path. I mean, I'm a full-on Muslim. I do my praying, my fasting, everything. I am a true um I act on it. So it's not just that I'm calling myself on it. So probably that makes it weight a little bit more on the Middle Eastern part of me. So
Yeah. So obviously, even in moments like now, what's going on today, how does it feel to have those identities that you have inside you conflict with what's going on? Like, how do you balance out and stay present in the moment with when things like this are happening?
well, it's difficult because when you hear the stories now from your parents and they never had a formal education and a formal they were brought up in different and more very difficult circumstances. I mean, I've been blessed. I'm not going to even compare it at all because my journey has been so easy compared to what they went through,
Hmm.
coming from the war to another country and then violence gets them out again and jumping from one place to another and just looking for the safest place for us to move. And then eventually, you know, so it is hard that, you hear that the town that they grew up in, and I was lucky enough to go and visit and see and understand their stories that they have behind. So it hurts. It sucks that we in 2026 we're still living the apartheid and we're living all these situations and what is going on with Palestine and everything, and then we're living it, and we've been living it for quite a while as well. Maybe not in the same way that they are, but we are living it. So as you know, the south of Lebanon was occupied for many many years, and then in 2000 he was liberated, and but they here we are again, they're coming in again, and then you feel like all that your essence is being attacked constantly and you're being always pointed at all the time just because of being of that area. And I'm not going to talk about politics. I don't want to get into all of that because everybody hates on everybody hates what you might feel, you might think, and I don't care even if they like me or they don't. But this is
Sure.
my reality.
Yeah.
It's my family's past and it's our present right now. So It sucks. It definitely really, really sucks to be living this type of situations even up to today.
Yeah, I obviously don't know what that feels like, but I obviously agree that, things need to change. And maybe we can talk a little bit about how you're multilingual. You
Mm,
speak Arabic, you speak Spanish, you speak English.
mm.
Talk to me a little bit about what does it mean to you to kind of be this bridge right now to connect people because of your circumstances, because of what you're experiencing. Maybe we can talk a little bit about like how you're actually kind of a bridge between right now with LA's community, LA's Latino community, right? To one of the biggest newspapers in the country. Like what does that feel like to be able to connect rather than divide?
That has always been my purpose in life, I will say, because I want everybody to understand the type of feelings that I have for every different community. Like every community gives you so much. You learn to accept, to be more acceptable, receptible of people, of things, more inclusive, right? So I'll give you an example. When I went to Qatar for the World Cup in 2022,
Yes.
I had an opportunity to do something that I had never done before. So, along with my colleague, we interview people before the games and all of this. And then Qatar presented a very unique opportunity for me to like showcase the three languages. So I would start talking to some fans, and then we started recording like kind of like live, Facebook Live, and all of this in social media. So I started I would ask people in Arabic. I'll talk to them in Arabic and this and that, and then then people gather around and they want to see like, hey, it's fun, they're having a moment, and then coming in and then les empiezo a hablar en español con un perfecto acento así, like they don't even expect it. And then I'll talk to them in Spanish completely, and they'll be shocked. And then when I'm done with them, I'll turn around and start talking in English. Maybe somebody will come in and I'll talk to them. So in that moment, you gather all these people, and at the end, we're all the same. It's that we all speak different languages. We all come from different backgrounds, but the essence of the human essence, we're all the same. What do we all want anyway? We want happiness. We want peace. We want to enjoy life, family, friends, just enjoy life.
Yes.
So at the end, it kind of like helped me to understand from this side of the world, the other side of the world, and the back down of the world. And it just allows that. And when I am able to present it, I'll take the opportunity and do it. Before I used to be a little more like, oh man, I don't look good in camera, whatever. And that's why I always wanted to be a writer. I wanted to tell stories. I wanted to do what I do, and especially because I love sports. And what better way to tell stories, to have yourself having some fun, and then the LA Times comes along in my life. That my lord, it's a big monster that you have to take care of, and I've been doing it for so long that I'm so grateful for it, and that allows me also to have all of this, like these opportunities to showcase and put everybody together and show that we are all the same. I hope
Yes.
that answered your question, but it's
Yes.
kind of like where I see it that way, and I live
Yeah.
it that way. So,
Let's travel back in time a little bit. And when you were growing up, could you did you ever imagine yourself or see yourself doing this journalism and covering a World Cup in 3 different languages? Like, what was it that you were thinking of? What did young Jad think he was gonna do? And how would young Jad react to you telling him what you're doing now?
uh, so I think I went through different eras. Like I wanted to do so many different things, and I think the environment that you're in really shapes what you. Sorry, my voice almost gone from all the yelling and practice.
Yeah, we're
But
gonna talk about that in a little bit too.
yeah, so basically, as a kid, I had different ideas of what I wanted to do. At a point in my life, I wanted to be a scientist. So it's kind of like, it took me that way. But that was because of the environment that I was living in, that I didn't see journalism as a possibility. The possibility wasn't there until I was in college. I'm sorry, when I was in high school, when I realized, hey, listening to all these games on Sundays and over the radio and the commentating and listening to my favorite team in Colombia, and I remember just close myself in the room and higher the volume so much, just enjoying to listening to the guys that are the commentators and the play-by-play announcers. So to me, that was more exciting than the game in itself. So then eventually I realized that then there could be a career on this. I was not going to be able to do it in Colombia. My parents were not into the liking of me doing that because they were afraid. And you can see it now. All of these journalists that are being killed every single day. Somehow it just goes back to what is happening today. And because
Yeah.
it's all tied up. So they were afraid and they didn't want me to. So I didn't really fight back at the moment when we moved to the US and I was about to start my college, trying to get something out of college. And I told them, can I do journalism? And they told me, no, we would prefer if you will do something else, maybe, get into the business or whatever. I look into business. I like computers. So I ended up doing business administrations and computer information systems. So I wanted to kind of like mix them both. And I did that for a while. And journalism, look, when God, and I believe in God, this is my spiritual part of me. I always believe in God. And if the path is not opening for you right at the moment, eventually it will come. Maybe later in life. Because when did I start my journalism career? When I was 29 years old.
Mm.
29. And I did 8 years of business, computers. I was IT. I was the IT guy, whatever. And I hated it so much. I did not enjoy it at all. But then,
Yeah.
God puts you back on the way. And it came in the strangest way. And I took advantage of it. Obviously being 29, I was now in charge of my own life
Yeah.
in a different way. And I no longer have to ask anybody. Well, I did have to ask my wife after for like, what did she think about me getting an offer from the LA Times? So
Yeah.
it was because I had to leave my own work and everything just to do this. Where we come from is not very understandable. I'm probably the only journalist in my own town in Lebanon, like from our town. I'm the only one who
Yeah.
there to do something different like this that have put me out there. And now I get all these kids asking me all the time. Like my son's friends are always asking, and they know that I'm going to the World Cup, that I have been to the World Cup a couple of times to Russia, in all the places in the world.
The only one Peru went to in like 100 years.
There you go. See? So we're doing something that now it's could be the path for another kid to continue this. And maybe hopefully they'll do even better than me. So yeah, I mean, that is how it came to be.
Okay. How has your Lebanese heritage shaped how you tell other people's
I try to be more human. I like a lot of the stories. Look, I'll tell you this, and I promise you, if you look into my profile, I love the one on ones. I love talking to people. I love hearing the stories, just what you're doing right now. And remember, I told you I don't normally do this type of things. I'm the one who is asking questions, and I enjoy that more because I like to hear from people. I want to tell the stories and then get my fat fingers to write all the stories, And just recently, I spoke um, to Tatiana Calderon, who is a pilot in NASCAR. So she's a woman driving in NASCAR now in Brazil. So they have the
Wow.
series right now in Brazil. And it was amazing. Like she's between all these men and she's the only one. Well, her teammate now is also Bruna, my God, I forget her last name. But now they're both the only women in there. So I like to dive into all that and get those ideas. And I think that comes from the storytelling of my dad, my mom, the stories that they tell us from back in the day. So for me, that was always like very special to hear stories. And I always wanted people to hear the stories. I want people to hear, hey, look what this other people, look what Hugo Garcia wants to say about, his journey. So let me give you that. So I think that comes from that, from hearing my own dad, my uncles. Well, I was never blessed to have my grandparents. I never met any of them. So
Mm.
I think that's the only piece of that life that it probably should have been there, what it wasn't.
Yeah.
And that probably would have helped me a little bit in the shaping on all of that. But yeah, the storytelling definitely comes from that. And here we are.
How when covering sports, has that ever felt like a form of healing for yourself or for the community?
100%. 100%. At the end of the day, what is sports if not entertaining? You know, you deal with so much in life. You have the stress of your bills, of your personal situations with your spouse, your kids, anything. Like at the end of the day, sports is supposed to entertain because that's what it is. It's entertainment. So for somebody who's trying to get an exit to get an outing, this is the opportunity for them just to enjoy that moment, and why not dream maybe to have their own kids to become a professional athlete or anything like that. So in a way, it gets you out, yes, and it is 100% important.
Yeah,
It should be part of everybody's life. You want that escape, that provides it. And how blessed I am that I live out of it. Like that is, and I don't say it just to show off. No, I'm not going to show off. I'm blessed and I'm thankful all the time. Every day I wake up and I know that I'm still hired and doing what I'm doing. It's a blessing because the situation right now is not so well. So anybody
mhm,
can just lose their job in any second. And so to me, it's a blessing. And that's why I'm going to take care of it the best way possible to keep that a story. And people depend on my stories to enjoy their days. Maybe they will start the day and go into the page and, hey, let's see what this dude wrote today, and
yeah.
and take it like that.
I mean, you've covered everything from Dodgers playoff drama to boxing matches to the death of a beloved Spanish language broadcaster, Rolando El Veloz Gonzalez.
Claro que sí.
You wrote a nice tribute piece for him, highlighting the legacy of the that basically just transcended generations. I think
Yeah.
in Spanish language sports, specifically radio. What's the story that you think changed you as a journalist that you've covered?
There are always a lot of characters, a lot of people that just do something for in your life, in your way life. And when you are in this for so long, you could become numb. And that is dangerous when you become numb. When you
Mm,
don't when you don't get that little sensation, that butterfly anymore,
yeah,
you should worry about it. Because that means you're just doing to get your paycheck, right? But I have had a couple of stories that have definitely, they're always in my mind. There was this kid who was about 12 years old, and he had, well, he still has cerebral palsy,
mm,
dude, and he ran the marathon, the
wow,
LA marathon. And I know it. Like after I did the story before he ran the marathon, I went to his training session and said half of his body, he was literally running on just one leg, you know?
wow,
And half of his face, his arm. I talked to the mom, and it was just unbelievable. Like it's been so many years, and that story still resonates in my mind. Like it just serves as an example to not look for any excuses to go out there and do things, to go out there and risk it all. You know, I mean, what did he have to prove? What did the mom? Why would the mom would want to put him into that situation?
yeah,
She's just doing what he wants. So she's trying to provide him the normalcy, quote unquote, if you want to say that, of what life has to offer. And then he proves that he can do it, and he did it. It took him like what, 8 hours, I think, to do
wow,
the whole thing. Dude, running on one leg. And I think they changed his shoes on the way because of how they get like brand
yeah,
new shoes, man, because he's dragging.
yeah,
So, and then the support of people and everything. So to me, that was like, man, it really resonated with me again. I like to use that word a lot, but it did something in me, and still until now, I still see it. So that is probably the biggest story that, and that was when the LA Times in Español used to be called Hoy Los Angeles.
oh wow,
Yeah. So still with the LA Times,
yeah.
Hoy Los Angeles it was owned by the LA Times anyway.
Mm.
So, but that was when I had that story.
Sounds inspirational, man. I mean, I did my first 5K last year, and I'm still tired from it. So I can't imagine. I can't imagine a
I
marathon,
go
man.
to the kitchen and I come back winded.
Exactly. I can't even bend over to tie my shoe. right now.
We can talk about that later. Let's not feel bad right now.
Yeah. When you cover athletes from immigrant communities, do you feel more responsibility to get a better story? Or how what what kind of responsibilities do you feel from that?
I treat them as, and it might sound cliche, but I treat them all the same, like with a lot of care. Because, like I said, I'm in a position where all these people are, their eyes are here.
Yeah.
That's one. And second, we go back to that part of me telling the stories because I wanted people to hear them and see them, and they're spending their time to come and talk to me. Okay, meet me somewhere. They go out of their way, or I have to include a lot of people to get this interview possible. So I have to respect that. I have to treat everybody the same way.
Mm,
Even if they're a current professional athlete, I have to give them that respect. So yes, the immigration stories, immigrants and all that, yes, I all the care that I can give, I do. So and obviously, it points back to me anyway, so I
yeah.
can relate to that,
Yeah.
and that is a special, and I do it, and I really do. It does matter to me whether they are or they're not. They're treated the same way, and I have to do it that
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about the interview process and what you feel. We talked a little bit about your faith, and maybe we can jump into that and see if it lands here. But
way.
when you're doing interviews, do you have like a routine, some sort of preparation you do beforehand? I personally, I'm not Catholic, I'm not Christian, I'm an omnist is what I
Okay.
call myself, and I basically accept and believe and respect everybody's thoughts, and I use them to create my own.
Mm.
And there's a lot of beauty in Islam, and I do love a lot of the teachings in the Quran, and I even have this tattooed on me. I don't know if you see it. It's Insha Allah.
Inshallah,
Yeah.
God willing.
Yeah. And so for me, I'm very big on every faith being important, and to me, I channel what I want to do is I always want to be open to receiving whatever energy the universe needs me to receive to get the best message to unite people, to make people feel positive. Do you have a routine like that that you practice or use?
That's beautiful, by the way. I mean, the way I like that. It's really cool that you're open and you're out there and receiving. That is amazing. That's who we are as humans. We're made out of energy anyway.
Yeah.
Now, this is not solid, just solid. There's a lot of energy,
Yeah.
a lot of atoms put together. So the amount of whatever energy you transmit or you get comes, every cell gives that type of energy. In regards to how do I prepare for interviews? Yes, I do have my routine per se. If I know that okay, for example, tomorrow I'm gonna have David Benavides, the boxer.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with him, but David Benavides is one of the big shots right now.
Hmm.
I've seen the way that he's grows and everything. He's been trying to fight Canelo.
Okay.
Who doesn't know Canelo? Come on, you
Yeah,
gotta
I
tell
know
me you know.
Canelo.
Okay. Now, he's been trying to fight Canelo for a while, quite a while, and the guy's like a big deal, and he could really take care of him. So obviously, I know of him a little bit, and but I do want to start by reading the last 3, 4 stories. I go to Google, no big deal. It's not. So I'll start reading about it, like the latest kind of thing, to see where he's at, and then I go and try to look for something really far, like as old as possible, just to kind of like, go back and forth and understand where this person is, where he was and where he is. So it allows me to have interviews more in depth, or to just get out of that routine that they normally would get. The same questions.
Yeah.
But it also depends on the time. Sometimes I don't get those. If it is a PR that has set up an interview, I don't have a lot of time. But if it is a story, for example, of somebody that I don't know, then yeah, I have to be creative and try to understand uh, what put them in the position that they are. And I
Hmm.
try to work on their background a lot. So that tells me a lot of who they are and where are they going,
Yeah.
maybe. And it allows me to just have a conversation with them. Sadly, a lot of these people, these athletes or whatever, they're taught to just receive a question and then the answer. Question, answers. But when you put them in a situation where there's a conversation, they don't function the way that I probably want them to do, to be like,
Yeah.
instead of having a conversation, podcast style if you want. So I have to be creative and trying to get them out of that and then just kind of like, let me break that barrier, let me break that zone that you're in so I can, better serve my story and just be different from maybe the other people that have told your stories. And, but yeah, I do like to get to the personal level. And I think that's where you get the best stories, you get the best sense of who that person is.
Yeah.
And, eventually you enjoy more what you're reading or you're listening. In my case, I have my Instagram and my job's Instagram and social media and all that. We're now putting all these videos of the interviews that I write about. So it gives people are bored of not bored, but bored of
Yeah.
reading stories or anything. So you can tell now the system can tell you how long a person actually spent on your story when they were reading it. It gives you the seconds of this video. Maybe they'll pass 20 seconds, hopefully, when they
Yeah.
see who the hell is this guy, you know?
Mm.
So yeah, it's practically that way. You have to be everybody's different. So there's not a specific routine, but I do a lot of research. And that I spend a lot of time and it sucks that, you have a story that can be read in only 5 minutes when I spend like about 6, 7 hours getting ready for it. And but it's all good.
Yeah. I gotta ask about it just because it's like the hot topic and it's buzzwords and it helps with the algorithm. I wanted to ask about AI.
Okay.
And when it comes to AI, are you on the side that's leaning on like, hey, I'm gonna use it to my advantage? Or are you on the side that's like afraid of what it's gonna do to journalism and honest stories?
I am afraid. I'm 100% afraid because it will take my job away. But at the same time, it will not be able to mimic my experiences, my conversations with the subject to come up with the story. So it is a big issue. It is a big conversation that is being had uh, between guild and the companies, the newspaper companies or
Yeah.
broadcast, whatever,
Yeah.
because obviously this will be a significant tool for them to be able to operate and then just get the stories out and then save a ton of money, and not have any of these journalists out there. But it will never, I don't think, at least, I don't fully understand it, to be quite honest. I'm afraid of it. I have talked about it with some of my colleagues, and it scares me just to know how powerful it is right now, or
Yeah.
it can be, because it's kind of like the beginning of the internet back in the 90s. It was great, 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 but then it just got crazier. So I think that's where it's going. It could get to a point maybe where it can definitely take a lot of jobs. And guess what? Well, I'm pretty sure you're aware. But as soon as an earthquake happens anywhere, a story comes within seconds.
Yeah.
Boom, AI written by. Now you don't have somebody just taking their time in the know. It just automatically does. So yeah, I'm very, very afraid. I'm worried about that.
Do you think that AI is worse than everyone now thinking they're a reporter because they have a cell phone and they can film videos because they're there and have their perspective on things? Like, what I'm thinking about specifically is when you look at the things that even just the Dodgers fight that they had, or was it the Angels? The Angels were
Yeah.
fighting. You had people filming there. Everybody's kind of like a reporter essentially in a way. Do you think there's more damage being done to journalism with people doing that versus AI, or AI is still much worse?
Well, I mean that. Well, the way I see it is two separate things. AI is what we're living right now. Having people prior to AI, they were filming, they were becoming reporters, and the problem with that is the fact that you want to be in social media, they want to monetize because a lot of people use it to make the money. So what did that really bring? Fake news.
Yes.
So I want to throw the news out there, and if I'm lying, it doesn't matter. I want to get the views. I want to get whatever. Let them say whatever they want to me, but I want to, cash out at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
that brought a lot of the fake news. So now not only you add light to the fire even more, lighter to the fire, fuel fluid, light, whatever they say
Yeah.
to the fire, you put AI. Now not only you have fake news, but it looks so freaking realistic. Like it's gotten to a point where like you don't even know whether a video it's really AI
Yeah.
or whatever. Like it's gotten so good, and it's only gonna get better. They're talking about making movies now with AI actors, you know. So it's crazy. It is scary. Like it's really really that bad that, and especially now that we're living with this with the wars and everything,
Hmm.
you don't know if it's the president really said what he said, or if a situation is really the situation that you think that is happening.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so it is worrisome.
Yeah. Definitely. Do you think maybe there's also a little bit of PTSD? You kind of were around, I think, when newspapers started becoming obsolete into like the digital age. Do you think it's the same, or is this
So it's not fully
still
obsolete. We're still printing.
we're still
We're
printing?
still
Yes.
printing.
Well, I'm just okay, in LA, for me, it's really hard to find an LA Times newspaper.
Okay.
I
But
have
we're
to
still
go into I have to go into, like, the one liquor store that still sells it, and it's the one like, they have, like, 2 or 3 older folks who still want the printed paper. I remember when the Dodgers won, I was searching for a printed paper for so long, the first World Series, not this last one.
yeah,
But do you think okay, since we're still printing,
yeah,
since we're still printing,
yeah.
do you think there will still be a world where people will still appreciate the authentic, genuine reporter journalism?
The fact that the society is still in place sanely, it's because there is still good journalism, and it's still appreciated. Now, maybe the new generations are not picking up the paper,
Mhm.
but if they're subscribing and they're, because that's everything is, you want to survive. If you want journalism to survive, you need people to subscribe, pay that fee, monthly fee to keep journalism writing. And I see it from the inside, like it is suffering. So when people are not buying the paper, they're not subscribing, and they prefer to depend on social media to get their news, you know. So that's when you lose. That's you
Yeah,
lose the real journalism. And I hope it doesn't happen. And I try to instill that in my kids,
yeah,
even though all they watch is YouTube and TikTok to get their news. It's like, hey, there's another world out there.
yeah,
But, and even so, when you go and watch all these TV channels with so-called news, where do you really get it from? But I mean, at least on my side, I believe that we're still doing the right thing. I'm trying to be as honest as possible to bring that out there and just keep it alive. And I have a lot of colleagues that feel the same way. All
yeah,
my colleagues, actually, I've never heard anybody trying to say anything otherwise. But yeah, everybody talks about how much we're suffering to keep the journalism alive, because when you have a president that is just calls you in the face and calling you a liar, and you're bringing that journalism because that's the way that they defend themselves, and it's what's going to sell on social media. Everybody goes with the reaction, but they don't go with the actions.
yeah. You mentioned your kids,
Yeah.
and and I think that's a good transition now to talk about how you also coach youth soccer.
Yes.
And from becoming a storyteller to a mentor to young athletes, I think is super impactful because I believe the answer is always the youth.
Yeah.
There's hay un dicho que me decía mi mamá, cuando ya está chueco el árbol, ya no lo puedes enderezar.
That's another way
Así
to
sea.
say it.
There you go.
There's a song too.
So I think the youth is where we can make the most impact. And talk to me a little about like what do you get from coaching that you don't get from writing?
Okay. So let me break it down into two separate entities, and I don't know if they even connect.
Okay.
But obviously, writing, like I said before, I mean, it just allows me to put my voice out there and bring all the stories that maybe some people are not looking into, that
Mm,
are worth looking into, and that is wonderful. That is, it changes lives to the positive. or maybe gets people to help out, or because there's a lot of necessities out there. And some stories may be, out of necessity of somebody who's going through something and they need help,
Yeah.
whatever. Now, the youth is also in need of help. Everything I feel, and I don't know if this is like old fashioned to think this way, but everything is being made for the kids to just sit in front of the screen, their
Hmm.
phones, their iPad, their mega whatever, call it whatever, the PS this, PS that, and just to not let them go outside and enjoy life. Dude, the other day I was just talking to my brother, like, how many times do we run behind a truck, those pickup trucks back in the day, and we just, as they're rolling, we're jumping and just hanging the bag until we got to the place that we wanted, and we just got off of it. Why didn't we get killed? Like, it was just, maybe broke a neck on the way down or whatever, but we lived that. We lived out there. We used to play in the middle of the street. We used to close the streets just to play soccer because we
Yeah.
didn't have, like, all of this that they have over here in the parks and whatever.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, okay, I'm not gonna, as a dad or right now, my wife, we don't want to let our kids to go on the street. We don't know what's gonna happen to them. But if I can at least bring them in into a controlled environment and put them out there and have them enjoy life outside, you know, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And also give them my experience, give them my, along with my brother, because it's not only me, it's my brother as well.
Oh, cool.
We share the same passion, and he has his son there and my son in there. They're both the same year, the same age, so that's why we were able to do this. And just seeing the it gives me chills. Just seeing like the development, like you teach them something, and then you can see that intensity, and you can see that progress in their game, in their mentality, into shaping that human being. Like, it's, and not only my kid, my nephew, but the whole team. Like, it's very exciting, it's very exciting. The discipline, hey, you go home, and it's not only about just teaching them how to play soccer, it's about teaching them life. How do they behave? How do they talk to each other? Bullying is not allowed. Disrespecting your teammates is not allowed. So now you're shaping human beings, you know? Hey, how are you doing in school? Are your grades okay? If you're not doing okay, then you're not allowed to be here. You need to take care of the school first. You get me? So get your uniform ready. Come with your shoes tied. Things that maybe people don't see because all you see is probably the championship or whatever, and having all these kids having so much fun. But there's also a lot of lessons to be learned. So I don't know how that connect with the writing, but they both serve for the human part of it. So that's probably where I would connect them. You ask me how do both of them are, but I think that's where they both connect on the human part of both of them. The writing is the writing, the story is the story, but there is a human aspect of it. And same with the sports. The sports is the sports. You score the goals, you become a better player, better athlete, but there's also the human side, the human
Yeah.
aspect for it.
How special is it for you to be able to work on that with your brother and your nephew and your son together, like as a family?
Well, first of all, I can tell them things straight up. Like, I can tell them straight up when I'm not in, things are not going probably the way that we want. So I can have that discussion with them openly instead of, oh, am I going to hurt his feeling? It's my brother. I don't care. I'm going to hurt his feeling. He's going to be upset at me. And I'm going to yell at him because I'm the oldest one. At the end, like, it's allowed for this project to work the way it's happened.
Yeah.
We just started it last year. And in less than 9 months, we had already won 2 tournaments, and then we won a league, which is really difficult to do, a full league to do that. So, and then we ended up like getting almost close to semifinals in a state cup. Dude,
That's
in
huge.
7, 8 months, 9 months, and this is what you get. And it's like, it's amazing. Now we started the second phase of it, which is, that was the 7v7. Now after March, we started what's 9v9. So it's kind of like a reset
Oh, wow.
of the whole thing. So this is our second year. and it's going well. We started playing already, and we added some special kids in our team. Like they're, and I mean special because they were able to connect right away with the rest of the team. And you also have to look into the parents because that is something that nobody thinks about. The parents, man, sometimes they're more problematic than the kids. And they're probably going to be looking at this because they see me on Instagram. I love them all. I love them all. But, you know, they can be also dramatic and they want to see their kids, obviously, and, you know, succeeds, and it's important for all of them to be at a level that we become successful. So it's really fun.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
You know, my son used to play soccer. I kind of wish I would have invested a little more on it because when he was little, at least when he was 6, the guy would circle around kids, dude. Like he did all the cool moves. He was a
Yes.
big Ronaldo, Messi fan. He didn't care. He's like, they're both the goats, and he would just literally mimic everything they do. And I think he was too good for the leagues that we were at,
Hmm.
and it was boring because
You got
like,
bored,
he
right?
would take it serious, he'd be like, "Come on, guys, like, what was that? Like, are you kidding me?" So and, like, it was like a little, it was like a little league, man. It was all the kids were just kinda, like, not really
So it was
participating.
recreational mostly. It was.
Yeah, definitely,
How old
definitely,
is
and
he
I
now?
think he's 16, he's gonna be 16 in
Oh wow.
August.
Okay.
Yeah, so honestly, I think he could still do it, but at this time, like, it's been a long time now since he's played, but I kind of wish I had known about travel teams or serious teams back then
Different.
because it's a whole different setup, and I see them because my friends are in the West Downey Little League, and their kids are a little more competitive, a little more aggressive, and that kind of like motivates all the kids to be like, "Oh shit, I need to be better because
Yeah.
these kids they'll look at me funny if I'm not trying." Or so I think I needed that for him, but it's always so for me, sports at least has always been a unifier of things, and putting kids' differences aside and learning them to respect each other and protecting each other or protecting their teammates. I think that's just a beautiful thing, man. So you've built a lot of great things. You've done a lot of great things. You've had what I would consider a lot of success and growth in what you do. What is it to you? What was it? What was that moment where you were like, I made it. I'm good now.
You know what? I still don't feel that I have.
Really?
I still feel that I haven't.
So
Because when you put yourself, they're little goals. They're little goals to me. Like the whole coaching thing never really came to my mind until I realized I'm not liking the way that the development was happening for my kid. So you know what? There's a new goal. So if you're not setting yourself up with new goals and just think that you made it, then you're lying to yourself because I mean life continues. I can tell you the type of life that I used to have back in the 80s, in the 90s. It's absolutely nothing to do with what I am right now. So it's completely I never probably thought, never even crossed my mind back then that the kind of life that I have right now. And if I am now here and just say and think that I made it, and that's it. I'm putting a stop to what my development as a human being is. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to feel like I have made it. And I honestly don't feel like I've made it. I don't know. I guess I have too many bigger goals that I haven't achieved yet. So only then, and who knows if I will. And to be quite honest with you, it goes even beyond the earth. Because to me, my spiritual being tells me that if I made it, is the day that I'm standing, and this might sound really weird, but you said that you accept weird. I think that once I'm allowed to be transcend my human life into a higher rank, I think then I will make it. Because now
mm,
it's out of my control. Right now I can control this,
yes.
but I cannot control once my spirituality advances to whatever is next to the other side. My religion has taught me about paradise and hell and all of this. So I chose to accept it, and I truly believe in it, and I'm trying to work towards it because it's our responsibility. I don't believe, with all due respect to all the people that are watching, my sins are my sins and I will pay for my sins. Nobody else is responsible for my sins. I have free will. God gave me a brain and a mind to like figure out the good and the bad. So I am only responsible for my sins. I will be up there by myself. And if I was the human being that I was asked to be, then I made it.
I
Meanwhile, I don't
really,
want to live it myself.
yeah, I really like your answer about how your work in progress and the work never stops. I think that's a true message that, is beautiful, and I hope it resonates with a lot of people because you're right. It's important to set little goals and to have always goals that you're working towards. And I appreciate the answer you've given us. When now we're at the part of the podcast where I use AI. So just so
What am
you
I
know,
gonna grow horns or something?
yeah, I'm gonna totally transform.
It's gonna get weird.
No, no. So what I do is I created an app that generates a question.
Okay.
Okay. And it's completely at random. So I didn't plan for this ahead of time. I don't know what question it's going to be.
But does it listen to the conversation and then create the questions?
Nope.
Or it's
It
just
it's
totally
just it's a totally random question
okay.
that's generated, and it's tied to an emotion.
Okay.
So just as a quick example, if I tell you, "Hey, talk to me about something that happened that you're proud of," and then the emotion is happy, you have to talk to me about something you're proud of that made you happy. So
Okay.
you tie it all together essentially. Okay?
I'll try my
So
best.
sorry?
I'll try my best.
Okay, cool. And then the completely random.
Mhm.
If today were your last day
Oh,
to say something to the world, and this was the microphone, what would you say? And I want you to talk about a risk that you had to take that was worth it. The emotion is
you know what we forgot to do?
what's that?
We have forgotten to be human. We have forgotten to be human. And I think that will be the message. We have forgotten to feel the pain of people who are suffering. We're normalizing pain. We're normalizing evilness. If I want to take risks, that's my risk. Stop, stop the evilness. Stop forgetting that you're human, that we have a responsibility to our fellow human beings. We were given this as a test. This is an illusion. We're not living a reality. Reality comes after. We're here temporarily. You were born, you're done. That's it. It's like a soccer game. You start, you finish. You have goals in between. Either you win or you lose. You're going to be gone. The game is going to end. And we're forgetting that. We're forgetting that what we're living here today is not going to be worth the day that we're 3 meters down. So that will be probably my only message, because I look at the news and I look at things, how people are going through so much just because of some other people's decisions, just because you look like this or you're like that, or you have oil, you have this that I want, bro. It's like we're living in a time where I don't know if these people think that we're gonna live for 1,000 years, each one of us. We have a very limited time over here.
Yeah.
So make the right decisions, man. Like, and it's not that hard. You don't need to be Muslim. You don't need to be Catholic. You don't need to be anything. Just be a damn good people. Just be good. You don't need anything. You okay? Fine. You don't want to believe in Islam. You don't want to believe in anything. That's fine. But the core of being a good human, you don't need a book to tell you. We are born with good when
Yes.
we're kids, and what we're giving these kids is what's going to shape them into what they are. So that means evil was probably instilled in them, whatever. But yeah, that would be my message. Just be more human.
I think that's a very powerful message, especially in the world we're living in right now,
Yeah.
in the world of AI even. One of the things that is going to differentiate everybody from AI is being human.
Yep.
And human means being able to sympathize, being able to empathize and care about others and accept others if you want to be accepted. So 100% agree with your message, man. Thank you for sharing that with us. Now, where can people find you? Where can people check out your stories of the people that you think deserve to be highlighted? Where can they look at your work, watch your work, read your work?
I'm very approachable through social media. So I like to spend my time in there. I get a lot of questions, a lot of messages on, it's they can see my name right there on the screen. We all
I will
together.
tag your Instagram and everything down
Yeah.
there too.
All of the Jad El Reda all over. Like it's Twitter, Instagram. I have my own YouTube channel, but that's more like showcasing my work. I
Mhm.
just drop everything in there. But yeah, that's how they can find me and drop me a message, man. That's you text me precisely through Instagram, so it's an easy way for me to get connected for sure.
Definitely, man. And thank you for responding, for considering me, for taking the time to talk to me. It really means a lot to me. I won't take it for granted. I really hope you enjoyed it as well. And just want to thank you again for coming on and chatting with me and helping me share your story. And hopefully I did it justice. With that being said, I always close off with saying, don't lose faith, lose fear, peace, and let your heart be light. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Hugo. Take care, man.
No problem, man.